the Outer Hebrides, a chain of islands off of Scotland's northwest coast. Remote, windswept, and filled with more history than most people realize. Out here, you'll find stone ruins that predate Stone Henge, and beaches so wide and empty that according to local rumor, a Thai tourism board once came here, took photos, and used them to promote one of their own. I'm Chris, this is Sarah, and that's Kramer sitting next to me while I take photos, doing absolutely nothing to help, but looking like he's in charge anyway. We didn't come out here looking for anything specific, just space, and the feeling that comes when you're a little farther from everything. This is the Outer Hebrides, and it's exactly where we want to be. Our journey to the Outer Hebrides begins on a rare, clear evening here in Uig. Still skies, golden light, and just enough time to catch the last ferry of the day. Which is kind of funny considering we're sailing towards the windiest, wettest part of Scotland. This part of the country gets hit with gale-force winds nearly once a week, but tonight, it's quiet. Almost too quiet. Ugh, that was lame. Anyhow, the ferry takes about an hour and 40 minutes, crossing from Skye to the Isle of Harris. Though technically, we are landing on an island that goes by two names. Harris in the south, Lewis in the north. Same landmass, no official border, just a subtle shift in landscape and weather and mood. By the time we arrived in Tarbert, the town had already gone to sleep. Shops were closed, lights were off, not a soul around. So we made the call. Instead of settling in, let's drive through the night. Because sunset doesn't happen till 10:30. Let's go north, all the way to the butt of Lewis. Because if you're going to explore one of the wildest corners of Scotland, you might as well start at the edge.
Welcome to the Outer Hebrides. Today we're starting at the northernmost point of the Hebrides, not the northernmost point of Scotland. Scotland goes even further north on other islands, but today we're at the northernmost point of the Outer Hebrides, which is the butt of Lewis. And we're starting at the lighthouse. We camped just about like a mile down the street last night. I cannot believe that it's sunny and not overly windy. It's always windy here. Today it's a beautiful day so far. We've already seen some little seals out playing. There's birds. No puffins yet. Birds over here, mostly gulls, but it's very pleasant and it's gorgeous. And these islands are some of the last, truly remote places in Europe. Some of the more remote places of Europe.
So here at the butt of Lewis, which I love that name, the water here is just beautiful. You're looking and all of a sudden you see this face sticking out of the waves and you're like, what is that? And you realize, oh, that's a seal.
Lucille! Watch out for Lucille!
And then a seal bites off his hand.
Gorgeous setting. So where we're at on the map, you're as north as like Iceland's out that way, Norway is across the water that way. Like you're really high on the map. And me, this is my first time in Scotland. It just never computed with me how north Scotland, the UK gets. It gets really far north. This is not the farthest north in the UK that you can go, but on this island, that's it. This is one of the windiest and rainiest places in the UK. Right now, we've got perfect weather. I think rain's on the forecast to come in, but right now it is beautiful. It's a cool 52 degrees. Feels perfect out here. It really does.
I just want to sit still because the weather's so nice. This is probably the nicest weather we've had in Scotland. It's beautiful. I'm not going to get used to it, but I am going to enjoy it while we have it. On to the next place. This is something we would like to do, the Hebridean Way. We're not doing it this trip, but it's one of those we'll add that to the list to come back to, maybe do one day. but it's about 100 and I may be wrong on this, 180-ish miles, I think, but it covers 10 different islands through the Hebrides, the Outer Hebrides, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. We've seen a lot of people cycling it, but you could also walk it, so add that to the list if you're a big distance walker, hiker, or cyclist. Check it out.
We left the Butt of Lewis behind and started making our way south, about 35 miles. But on these roads, it takes the better part of an hour. You don't pass much out here, just open moorland, the occasional passing sheep, and views that somehow feel bigger than the map says they should. We filmed this part in silence, not because we planned to, but because the wind was so strong that it would shake the truck and it swallowed everything that we would try to say. So we're telling the story now, the way it felt then, but quietly. The Callanish stones have been here for over 5,000 years. That's older than Stone Henge and built around the same time as the Great Pyramids. People stood here long before there were countries, before there were castles or cameras or ferry routes bringing travelers in. And somehow they're still standing. Through storms, through time, through everything. But unlike Stone Henge, there's no barrier here. No time tickets or fences or overpriced audio tours. This is free. You can walk right in, right up to the stones, and just be there. We wandered between them for a while, took some photos. I may or may not have held up Kramer dramatically like he was part of some ancient ritual. He didn't love it. It's not flashy, there's no sign telling you how to feel, but that's a part of what makes it stick. Something interesting about driving in the UK, because there's these one-track roads, and they'll have little pull-offs. You're passing that person who's pulled off, everybody waves. Like, everybody in the car, they're just like, oh, it's just a thing. Like, you just wave at them as you pass by.
They'll say thank you, but they're just like overly thankful. I love how friendly they are, because in the States you may get like a hey, like from the driver, but here it's like the driver and the passenger, they both are like, and it's not just like that, a lot of times it's like that. It's really sweet. I saw this on Google Maps and it's just so cute, but it's called Croft 36 and it's this little shed garage thing on the side of the road, and it's like homemade baked goods, and they also have coffee and soup. I read online you've got to get here when they first open at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. to get the best stuff, and we're here at like 12:30. So if we missed the savory, I think they have like curry pasty. They also had a whole like cauldron of soup, which is completely gone. It was leek and potato. They still have hot coffee going, some like room temperature pastries, and then we're getting a lobster buttery. And I did not know what a buttery was until another gentleman was just in here, and he's like, do you know what a buttery is? And I was like, no, I have no idea. He said it's from the east coast of Scotland, and it's very, very similar to a croissant, but it's more of a round shape. So they have plain ones for sale over here, but then they also make them as sandwiches, and this is a lobster sandwich, and I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna probably devour this.
I cannot believe that this is Scotland. This water, this beach, look at this.
Beautiful. Some of the bluest water I've ever seen. I want to go jump in, but also I'm cold right now. So maybe we should get like really, really warm and then go run in the water and then come back and get really, really warm in the heater again. It's so beautiful though. I think Kramer would really enjoy a run on this beach.
From here we made our way to Huisinis. It's pronounced Huisinis, in case you're wondering, and I'm just going to go ahead and apologize for butchering it. It's about 13 miles from the main road, but it feels like you're heading somewhere that most people don't go. The single-track road winds through some of the most beautiful terrain we've seen on Harris. Hills that fold into each other, giant slabs of ancient rock scattered across the fields like someone dropped them there on purpose. And every now and then, a glimpse of turquoise water just beyond the bend. It's the kind of drive where the landscape keeps changing, but never really lets go of that raw, weather-carved feeling. Eventually the road ends at Huisinis, and you're greeted with a wide, quiet beach framed by cliffs and open sea, with sand so white it catches you off guard. This is one of the most pristine beaches I've ever seen. No one's here. Obviously it's like 49 degrees right now, so it's not beach weather, but this is so pretty. The water's just so crystal blue, and this beach is just, it's just kind of incredible. It really is, like, there's no one here. No one. It looks like it's out of a stock image. It's incredible. I would never expect Scotland to have a beach like this. So the sand's actually pretty coarse too. It's not
good sandcastle sand.
Yeah, this is like good sandcastle sand. It's not really fine, but it feels good. It's actually great for Kramer because when we bring Kramer to the beach, he has sand everywhere.
Kramer,
Hey,
quit eating the seaweed.
it's easy sand to like wipe off.
So last night we actually camped right there. You could see it. A little pricey, but you did have a great view. We had a great view just looking out over the water. The weather in Scotland, it changes every 2 seconds. I've never been somewhere where the weather changes this quickly. People say that about everywhere they live, like anywhere in the world, like, oh, the weather changes so fast here. Not like Scotland. This area does get a lot of wind and a lot of rain. And thankfully, we have not had crazy, crazy winds. For the most part, it's been doable. We heard it gets so bad here sometimes that people aren't able to drive. Like, it'll just blow your car off the road. So, not ideal when you're driving a 10 and a half foot tall camper. This is one of those moments, like, I think Scotland has incredible beaches. But then also part of me wonders, like, are these beaches just absolutely pristine because people care for them so well? Or does it also have to do with the fact that beach weather here, like good beach weather, like a really balmy day in Scotland's like 65 degrees? I don't know. So like beach going weather, people do surf in these waters, which is kind of crazy. They're like full wetsuits. I saw somebody yesterday actually, she had the full wetsuit and the booties and the hat and like the whole garb up. But as far as like lounging on the beach in a swimsuit, I don't know that my southern self would do that just because it is chillier than I'm used to. But the water is gorgeous. I think it'd be nice, like if you went for like a long run or a hike and you wanted to like dip in and cool off if you're a little warm, it would probably feel really good, like an ice cold plunge, you know? But as far as like boogie boarding out there, I don't see myself doing that because it's chilly. But the beaches are really lovely. Like I think if this were, 85 degrees, this place would be crawling with people. There'd be hotels and high rises all over here probably. But it's lovely just to come and enjoy a beach and just enjoy the beach and the ocean for itself versus like feeling like we have to go swim and get in the sun. And I love those things. But sometimes it's nice just to take it easy and just watch and observe. Kramer's driving me crazy. He has eaten half the beach in sand already. Eating the sand doesn't do good things to you. It's not just one beach in the Outer Hebrides. So we're on the island of Lewis and Harris. That is one island that's divided by a mountain range. So we actually just crossed over into Harris, like that, the Harris side of the island. But the beaches all along this whole island are just absolutely gorgeous. And they vary a little bit. Sometimes they have like rocks jutting up out of the ocean and cliffs. Other times they're just, horseshoe-shaped coves of sand. So we're gonna stop at a couple other places today, but every beach we've seen so far has just been immaculately clean. Very few people. The few people that are there are just like a few tourists and some locals walking their dogs. Like, I love that. It's just so remote. It's refreshing.
We camped in this parking lot last night. It's 20 pounds. You can fill up on water. They have dump stations, everything like that. And they also have this like indoor section where you can eat because it's windy, it's cold, and so you can eat on these picnic tables inside. Little like soup and coffee machine. Super nice, beautiful, beautiful overlook on the beach and just gorgeous scenery. This was one of the more expensive sites that we've stayed at, 20 pounds. Normally they're running around 10 pounds on the island, depending on where you're staying and, you know, if you're getting electric or anything like that. This was a fun little splurge.
After a quiet night by the water, we packed up and headed inland. We set out on foot towards the North Harris Eagle Observatory, a few miles through open peatland.
Ah, the peat.
Slick rock, and the kind of terrain that feels like it hasn't changed in centuries. We were hoping to spot some golden eagles, but what we got instead was sideways rained, fogged up camera lenses, and wind that made recording audio completely pointless. It's a beautiful hike. Even in the rain, it's worth walking through. And while we didn't see any eagles, Kramer did manage to find a very questionable puddle to roll in.
Rain's coming in and we've got to make the mile trek back.
The lens is gonna be all wet from the rain. It's like misty, but the winds are getting stronger, so it's just like pelting you in the face a little bit. Hey, Kramer. Kramer's making the most of it.
There's a storm system coming in, but the winds consistently on this island have just been pretty gnarly. Here it comes.
We are in Stornoway, which is the largest city on the island of Lewis and Harris on the which are part of the Outer Hebrides. And right now we're at Lewis Castle, which is in Stornoway, and they have these beautiful grounds with lots of cycling and pedestrian trails, and it's really windy. So I don't know if you can even hear this because the wind is just crazy right now. Our ferry actually got delayed because the winds are so bad they canceled it yesterday. And we can't leave till tomorrow. So, you know what? Thankfully we're not on a tight schedule, but if you are and you want to come here, just take into consideration the weather can be unpredictable. So this man back in 1844 bought the entire island of Lewis and Harris for 190,000 pounds. That's less than we bought our house for. Still, a whole island of this size. Kind of conflicting feelings on him though, because it sounds like he made his fortune in the opium trade and even declared war on China because of trying to like grow that and conflicting issues. I'm not really, this is just based on this little bit of knowledge I'm getting, but opium money looks good.
I feel like we need to put a disclaimer. We don't condone opium money, so please don't comment. We're not going to give a PDF.
That was commonly used back in the day. Like they didn't have normal medications like we do today. Opium was. I'm not encouraging this. If there's children watching this, it's not good.
You're not going to get a PDF from us on how to build a fortune this way. But beautiful castle, gorgeous walkway. Change the subject.
There's been several things on the island that we've wanted to feature and do, and some of those things have been closed because they're like remodeling or, you know, construction, different things like that. Specifically the Black House, which I thought was super interesting, but they're having to do construction on it. So it's not featured in this video, but this island is so very, very beautiful and rugged and just, I'm enjoying my time here. We didn't know what to expect from the Outer Hebrides, and honestly, that's probably the best way to show up here. It's remote, it's raw, it's quiet in the best way. Even though the weather didn't always cooperate, we're glad we made the trip. Next up, we're heading back to the mainland to drive one of the most iconic road trips in the UK, the NC 500. And if the Outer Hebrides taught us anything, it's the best parts usually aren't the ones we planned.
For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.